Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Antipart and today I am positively geeking out about my shell build in War Robots. I'm going to be showing some gameplay with it, but I'm also just going to go into detail talking about this. Let's get started. I got shell the day it came out from Pixonic, and I tried a whole bunch of different weapons on it. And ultimately, because of how popular the robot became, I ended up with 2 rhymes and a big ember as my build. In fact, right now you can see every single bot in my hangar has some splash-based build in it. Because shell is just an incredibly popular robot right now. Now you can see I've moved away from that particular build to 1 rhyme, 1 ember, and 1 blaze. It's very similar, and the reasons why for that will come in a little bit later, but this, I spawned this bot first. This is like it is an incredibly powerful, well-rounded bot. It's got firepower, it's got hit points, and it's got the shield. And because of that, this was a very high priority for me to max it out, because you're getting extra shields, a lot of extra hit points. This thing has more base hit points than a Fenrir, and that ability damage. So it scales really, really well. So it was a priority to max it. So I maxed it out, and I leveled up my pilot for it a lot. And as you can see, I've got a lot invested in these pilot skills. It's really standard stuff. It's basically the same skills I'm going to put on every robot: Roadhog, Mechanic, and Armor Expert, plus the Physical Shield, Expert, and Destroyer. After that, you can kind of pick and choose. You can see I haven't even leveled up Master Gunsmith. I rolled it at random, and I'm kind of tight on gold, so I haven't been leveling it up. I used to have a drone for the shell, where I had just about every different chip slot. I had defense, I had attack, I had effects, kind of did everything, and it works really well. And then the drone rework happened, and now I think a big part of what you pick and choose for your bots comes from the drones and modules and how they interact with each other and stuff like that. So let's take a look at the modules for this shell. Got Last Stand, works really well with the ability on short cooldown, will often get you an extra charge, and does great when multiple reds are attacking you. Balance Unit works really good on shell. You've got that firepower, you've got that hit points, and it really beats you up. People expect you to go down with splash, so the balance unit, the extra hit points from the balance unit really help with that, and it works really well. I would probably, if I could spare it, would run 2 balance units. The Fortifier is good. It makes you really, really strong against energy weapons, but doesn't do you a lot of good against splash, which is honestly a lot of what you encounter. Again, back to my hangar, people are going to run splash a lot. But against the energies and the sonics, Fortifier does give you a lot more staying power. And we'll talk a little bit more about Repair Unit in a little bit. Let's look at the drone. Here we're looking more closely at stuff that's going to be restricted by the availability of items. This is in the Battle Wreck account. This is stuff that I've bought with my own gold. Some gold, which I've got from Pixonic. I haven't been spending a lot of money on gold lately. Largely, I buy level tier 2 chips and combine them to get this kind of stuff. Since the drone rework came out, I've a very limited selection of which drones that I can use. So this Octanian might not be the best. You could do really well, probably maybe even better than this, with a glider or a nebula on this thing. But while I have gliders, I'm trying to actually avoid using them because I'm kind of low on power cells. So I don't really want to be using phase shift. I don't even like phase shift. So I've opted to use Octanian here. Because Octanian doesn't have any healing slots, this significantly informed my choice to use healing unit. I like lockdown ammo and deathmark on the shell as well, because they do synergize really well with its ability. But because I have no healing slots on the drone, I have opted to use healing unit, and thus chosen to use my B-type sockets as revitalizing intensifiers. Now, when you activate Revitalizing Identifiers, manage to freeze your target and hit them with the shell ability, that gives you a nasty, nasty bit of damage. And if I can level these up, this will become fantastic. After the drone rework, I was able to get my first tier 4 suppressor, which we can see. I've been using suppressors on my shell for a long time. This is why I went down to only one prime, because with this suppressor, you don't really need both of them. And then you can have that extra sustained damage that's useful against other shells. And I threw in a freezer, partially because going down to only one rhyme, you're not going to be able to freeze targets reliably, so this extra bit of freezing actually allows you to get the target frozen and get that extra 20%, which is very, very helpful. Is that that's what this drone is set up to do. That's what this build is set up to do. The thing I love is to activate my ability, close in on my target without firing my weapons, and then right before my ability activates, hit that active module and start attacking. The Optim will not have time to react and take that big chunk of damage if they are not paying close attention to you. Whereas someone who you've already attacked with your weapons will be wary and be able to activate an ability or a phase shift or something in order to prevent taking all of that damage from the ability. That's basically the main logic behind this this build. And while I'm at it today, I'm giving away 5 of these 5 shells. What I'd like you guys to do is put your commander ID, best case copied from your profile, down in the comments below, and tell me, if you win a shell, what you're going to put on. You could just do the weapons. You don't have to tell me everything like I did here today, but I'd like to hear what your plans are for the shell if you win. And let me know if you want to see a deeper breakdown on all of the robots in my hangar. I'm thinking about doing them as community posts, but I could do videos. Who knows? But for now, I am Antipirate, wishing you a good day, wishing you luck in your battles and my giveaway, and signing off saying, find the balance.